I could just see characters taking this on flavor grounds alone, and it'll
Yeah.
do a good enough job that, yeah, go for it. That sounds like a blast. I like the idea that like the spell you take mimics your mark or whatever. So you got a big burn on your right shoulder. You take burning hands that just like erupts from you. That sounds freaking metal.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the feat Aberrant Dragonmark. How aberrant?
Yeah, exactly. This is from Eberron Rising from the Last War, a book that was made for the Eberron setting. It came with the Artificer class at the original time. It has a bunch of neat little content for playing in Eberron. I don't think I own that specific book, surprisingly. I've wanted it. It came with Warforged and stuff, and I just never got around to getting it. That's not true if you're watching this from Wizards of the Coast, by the way. I'm definitely reading this legitimately from a book that I own. So this says it's got prerequisite that you have no other dragon marks. Now, the dragon mark system exists in that book. I don't know how that works, so I'm just going to assume you qualify. You have manifested an aberrant Dragonmark. Determine its appearance and flaw associated with it. You gain the following benefits. Increase your constant order by 1 to a maximum of 20. You learn a cantrip of your choice from the Sorcerer spell list. In addition, choose a first level spell from the Sorcerer spell list. You learn that spell and cast it through the mark. Once you cast it, you must finish a short or long rest before you can cast it again through the mark. Constitution is the spellcasting ability for these spells. Okay, already got off to a great start. When you cast the first level spell through your mark, you can expend one of your hit dice and roll it. If you roll an even number, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the number rolled. If you roll an odd number, one creature within 30 feet of you takes force damage equal to the number rolled. If no other creatures are within range, you take the damage. Neat. You also develop a random flaw from the Aberrant Dragon Flaws table. These are just fun little features that you attach to your character. Like some of them are like your mark is a source of constant physical pain, or animals are uneasy around you, or the skin by the mark is burned, scaly, or withered, or you have horrific nightmares after you suffer the mark. Basically, like life-altering, debilitating conditions sometimes. Yeah. So that's fun.
It's dreary, but really good flavor, though.
It is great flavor, absolutely. It will also end on this. It's called Option Greater Aberrant Powers. So the DM's option, a character who has the Aberrant Dragonmark feat can have a chance of manifesting greater power upon reaching 10th level. A character has a 10% chance of getting an epic boon from among the options in the strategy. If the character fails to gain a boon, they have a 10% chance the next time they gain a level. If a character they save just 10%. They have a 10% chance. Yeah. Great. So every time you level up, you get that. If the character gains a boon, DM chooses it or determines it randomly, the character also permanently loses one of their hit dice, and their hit point maximum reduced by an amount equal to the roll of that die plus their con mod.
Wow.
It cannot be reversed by any means, which means basically, if you ever get the opportunity to get this at random, it is insanely powerful because you're trading like 10 hit points for some truly potentially busted stuff. Now, all of that I'm going to exclude from this conversation because I don't think it's likely to occur. It's a DM option. It's entirely in the optional bracket. Your DM has to do all the engineering behind it. And I don't think if we're going to take this, especially outside of an Eberron table, I would expect that to be the norm. So if we just look at the base features you get here.
If we're not going to talk about that, I do want to quickly ask, what are some of these big powers?
Okay, so let's look at the character boons. Let's see if I can find them real quick. Let's see, what will this result? Oh, there we go. Epic boons. First result. Don't fail me now. So we get like the boon of Fortitude. Increase your hit point maximum by 40. Boon of High Magic. You gain a 9th level spell slot. Boon of Luck. You can add a d10 to any ability check, attack roll, or saving throw you make once per short rest. Boon of Planar Travel. You choose a plane of existence in the material plane. You can use the plane shift spell to go there once per short rest. Lots of powerful stuff here, potentially. Very wacky stuff here. Some of them are like Boon of Spell Masteries. You pick a first level Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard spell, and you can cast it at will. There's some potentially wild things that happen with these boons.
Okay. Cool. That's worth 10 hit points.
Infinite first level spells of a specific kind, yeah, that's disgustingly powerful. So 40 hit points is worth 10 hit points. That's math.
Sure.
Outside of those boons, if we don't do any of the optional stuff, just rules as written. I kind of love this.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
It's like,
I can't believe this gives you a constitution bump. Like it feels like there's enough going on here already.
Well, the neat thing is it makes you cast from your con as well. right? Like, if you take a spell with this, it uses your Constitution as your spellcasting ability modifier, which I think is super neat.
Sure.
That's like, you want to be a concaster. This is like a weird, unique option that I think appeals to like either people that just have baller con for their concentration saves, or like barbarians, paladins, fighters, right? Hardier characters that don't normally have access to this kind of magic. Giving a once per short rest first level spell slot and a cantrip, that's big game, right?
Yeah.
Like, take Mage Hand, and then you can take, I don't know. Like, the difference between short and long rest isn't that big, but it is like still notable. You could take Shield if you really wanted to do extra durability stuff, and that doesn't care about your spell saves or anything like that. But you can also just like take Silvery Barbs.
Yeah.
That seems fine. Caustic Brew if you want to take this early and have a neat little utility line. I don't know. I think there's some potential here.
Shield. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, Shield's an option, absolutely. Yeah. You could take Silent Image if you want to get funky. You could take Fog Cloud, which seems kind of bad, but it's an option if you want to do some like flavorful stuff. I can see like normally I'm really low on Earth Tremor. Maybe if you can like use the Earth Tremor to drop things prone. They're never going to stay prone. Never mind. Earth Tremor is still just trash. But like, there could be some interesting options, I think, to like look into and design around, especially whenever you stable it to the neat little bit where you're gaining hit points or dealing damage. So you're like, as a rage, I guess Barbarian's not a great example because you can't cast spells while raging, but as like an angry paladin inside people, killing them, being able to be like, I shield that, and when I do, damage flies out or I gain hit points. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, is it like better than the other options that give you second level spells? I mean, the con bump isn't nothing, but those are giving you charisma bumps. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it depends on who you are and what you want this for. Like, if you've got a specific play pattern in mind, like I could see taking this to get shield, bumping up my constitution, and being a fighter, or probably not a barbarian, but maybe a paladin.
Yeah, paladin seems like a pretty easy option. I think fighter does too. I can see there being even like rogues, right, where you want that utility of Mage Hand plus one first level spell, and you want that bit of more durability. And like, you don't really care about going in on Int or Wiz or Charisma or whatever. I could see that being a real line you consider every once in a while, especially if you want, again, that hit dice spending mechanic attached to it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, it's definitely worse than the like you get Misty Step or invisibility spells, right? Like that power is just way higher on those. I don't think this needs to be that powerful for at least to be interesting, and I do think this is somewhere competing around where Magic Initiate is, and I rate that feat pretty highly. I think this is a pretty good comparable option to that.
Sure. What about Warlocks?
And for that reason, like, it seems like it's, I don't know, it's good.
Yeah.
Spell feat good. It's dripping with flavor. It has some weird potential extra upsides. I do think if you are taking this for the boons, make sure you talk to your DM first. Don't just take this and assume they're going to give you the boon, because I doubt they will. But if it's on the table,
I think you froze up a little bit when I asked you. What do you think about this for Warlocks?
I definitely didn't hear a word of that. Okay.
Yes.
So go. Do you want to just repeat the question or just jump in?
I don't know. Just keep going. You only froze for like half a second.
Oh, okay. For Warlocks, I think like extra con is always good. Yes. It helps your concentration saves, gives you more hit points. It gives you a good reason to start with an odd con. And an extra first level spell that you're casting on short rest means you're kind of getting a larger pool of pack slots is the idea. But it still, I don't think, like, it solves the pack slot problem by any stretch of the imagination. No. Like, you're still not going to have... You're still going to go into 1 or 2 fights per long rest and be like, oh, this is an extra resource, but it's not like full casting extra resource. You still, I think, could take it there, but I would probably rather have the extra Misty Step or the extra visibility on top of the first level spell, right?
Yeah, I was thinking like if maybe they're going to be doing like trying to squeeze in as many short rests as they can get anyway. Might as well get something else for your short rest. Also, flavorfully very fitting.
Oh, absolutely. I could just see characters taking this on flavor grounds alone, and it'll do a good enough job that go for it. That sounds like a blast. I like the idea that like the spell you take mimics your mark or whatever. So you got a big burn on your right shoulder. You take Burning Hands, and that just like erupts from you. That sounds freaking metal, right? I love that look. You can do a lot of really cool character design, I think, with this kind of feat, and that's a thing that is a good, like, that's a reason people play this game, is to make cool characters, and this definitely is going to lead to making a lot of cool characters.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah, it's a
We're gonna
first level
rate it?
sorcerer spell and a cantrip. It seems like a 3 out of 5 to me. This seems like a
3?
pretty solid middle of the road. You get a cantrip, you get a first level spell. It's on short rest than a long rest, but you're not getting a second level spell, and that's kind of a big deal. Um, it's pretty fine. I think you can do some neat stuff with it. Again, the flavor definitely sells me a lot on it.
Yeah, in a vacuum, I'd probably give this a 4, but yeah, with the other, yeah, almost objectively better options, yeah, bump it down to 3.
Mhm.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that was Aberrant Dragonmark. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us here. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.